Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another video on Freedom Loves You. I'm Don Griffin Jr. and today I'll be reacting to a video called Architect Reveals How NFL Stadiums Are Engineered to Maximize Profit.
This luxury field suite at the New Orleans Superdome is one of many new revenue streams for the stadium since its opening in the 1970s.
Originally, it was all about being in the stadium and watching the game. Over the years, it's become more and more about fan amenities.
Those amenities are changing the way we move through stadiums and pay for live events. In 1991, it cost around $145 for a family of 4 to go to an NFL game. Today, it's more than $600. The latest Superdome renovation tripled the amount of space for club lounges, carving out more real estate to turn a profit. A redesign of the concession stands around the stadium led to a 23% rise in revenue.
In the NFL, the stadiums are actually getting smaller. You're now looking for a return on investment versus how many people can you fit in the stadium.
Now, most stadiums don't make it past 50 years old. They're either demolished, like the Texas Stadium, or abandoned, like the Houston Astrodome. So for the Superdome, the latest $560 million renovation was a matter of survival.
It's on the stage of world events such as the Super Bowl.
From its inception, the Superdome was designed with more than just football in mind. The more events you host, the less money you're leaving on the table.
The entire seating bowl is built on this hydraulic platform, and it raises up and down, so that allows monster trucks, it allows all the 18-wheelers that come in to build the Taylor Swift stage, it allows for the WrestleMania stage to be built out.
Two goals of stadium design today are creating plenty of places for people to spend money and efficient pathways to prevent bottlenecking. This starts before you even enter the stadium.
When you're thinking about moving 70,000 people in and out of a building like this, you want to avoid a situation where you end up with a primary gate that everybody is actually trying to come in and out of because of the way that the system is set up. And that actually is what was happening with the Superdome because of the way that the city has kind of grown around it over the years.
They built new, bigger entrances for general admission ticket holders and made some of the original gates smaller to make space for new club lounges.
This most recent project actually relocated some of the old locker room facilities. There's a lobby here that you now can come directly into the new end zone club.
I think it's kind of crazy to have 750,000 people and kind of not even think about, I know it was years ago, but kind of not even think about the extra revenue generating activities.
And field suite.
Those premium entrances add value to the more expensive ticket packages. They also benefit wider crowd control by spreading out the entry paths for different fans. Inside, stadiums used to be designed around packing in as many seats as safely as possible. Now, it's more about fewer seats that are meant to be more comfortable.
How long is it taking you to get to the restrooms or the concession stands or the bars? If that is too complicated, people just won't do it.
Generally, you don't want to have to cross more than 6 seats in a suite or 10 to 15 seats in general admission.
If it's done right, people are all the time kind of getting up, moving through, going downstairs, coming back up to your seats, and it's very easy to move.
The Superdome used to have this winding ramp system people would walk through to get from floor to floor, but it took crowds a long time to get upstairs and used up a lot of space in the floor plan.
Once we showed what you could do based on the real estate that was taken up by these, it became the obvious decision to remove them from the sidelines.
Brad's team carved out the space around the ramp system and replaced it with much faster escalators and elevators that take people straight up multiple floors. That freed up space to add new atriums and concession stands. But first they had to convince the stadium to try something new: grab-and-go markets.
The food and beverage vendors are wanting to stick to the typical concession stands, the belly up, and the queuing that occurs because it's worked over the years.
These so-called belly-up concession stands usually have an S-shaped queue leading to a service counter where you place your order and wait for your food and drink. But the grab-and-go markets changed the flow entirely. Guests grab their own items and wait in one of many single-lane queues that lead to islands with servers on both sides, saving both time and kitchen space. That's allowed for another tier of concessions to take the place of the traditional stands.
So they might have very specialized food offerings that someone might want to stand in line a little bit longer for versus hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken tenders that you're moving through these grab-and-go markets much quicker.
Another way to increase efficiency and revenue? Add a massive branded bar with space for lots of little queues rather than one long queue.
This is a 40-yard long bar that every 5 feet or so is a point of sale.
Behind the scenes, stadium managers watch a real-time dashboard showing which items are selling best throughout the stadium.
Okay.
Say one section is buying more champagne while the other is buying more beer. They can change the menus and stock accordingly. Stadiums are taking a more personalized approach to the seating bowls as well. Gone are the days of simple seats and suites. Today is all about variety.
There are sort of 3 zones that we consider.
Sidelines, corners, and the end zones. Within each of those sections is a mix of private suites, club zones, and general admission seats. Sideline seating offers.
So I like the part where he said they kind of have like a real-time dashboard to see what's selling more, and those are called KPIs, which are key performance indicators. And those kind of let you know, like, by the numbers, what is performing the best, so that you can either focus your energy on what is creating the most revenue, or you'll be able to keep track of what's not working at all and see how you can either do that better or not do it at all.
Offers you the best views, which is where you'll find the most premium seating.
The whole goal would be to have all of your seats, whether they be premium or general admission, selling out for every event.
Private suites are typically purchased outright, or leased for 3 years by companies or individuals. They can then be rented out for $10,000 to $50,000 a day, depending on the event. Other stadiums are pulling out all the stops to stand out, from the nightclub like Wynn Field Club in Las Vegas to the private pool suite at Chase Field in Arizona.
Let's say you're replacing 1,000 general admission seats with 100 premium seats. That becomes the calculation that you look at.
Club seating, on the other hand, goes for around $2,000 to $4,000 for a Saints season ticket. And while end zone seats aren't the most valuable to the stadium, costing around half the price of sideline seats, private field suites can boost the revenue for that section.
You're right on the field, essentially, which from a sideline standpoint, you can see maybe is not so great. These new video boards allow for the sightlines of the game to still be acceptable.
That new revenue stream helped enable a necessary change in the corners of the stadium. In order to add new accessible seating sections, they had to get rid of some general admission seats.
It's a numbers game, so let's just say you're going to take away 1,000 seats. Well, what you're replacing that with becomes the return on investment calculation.
Ticket revenue for the Saints rose 6% after the renovation. As for what the next big innovation in stadium design will be,
it's not going to be a suite or a club or any of the things that we're talking about or doing today. I mean, will there be a situation where the camera that floats above the game and videos it, will that somehow become an actual suite that is maybe somehow moving or floating over the field? Or will there be clubs where you're able to put on some kind of virtual reality and experience the game as a player because the player actually has this technology built into them?
As the business model of live events evolves, architects like Brad will be there to transform the space to fit the brief. The challenge is to design ways to drive revenue without leaving the fans behind.
The power of a well-designed stadium unlocks the business side of stadiums to where you're bringing in people from all over the world.
Okay, so I like this video, and I think this is a valuable lesson for anybody in business, like especially if you have anybody in business, just making sure you are maximizing your capabilities that your business have by figuring out the different revenue streams. And they have a good example of some things I discussed in my other videos, but they took their piece of real estate and figured out how they can make multiple revenue streams and track them in different ways to see what's working or not. So good video, and once again, this is Freedom Loves You. Stay tuned for the next reaction video.